Okay, so the bit that cheered me up, right, was these three. Now, the reason I brought romance into it a little bit is because of the higher level commitment and the Ten of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles. Obviously, abundance comes in many different forms, okay? But it kind of also said to me, because I do feel like this is where me and Spirit, we have a good chat, yeah? And it's also more of a higher level commitment that makes me happy with Spirit, and that in itself is the biggest gift I could have ever asked for. So I've kind of looked at this in a couple of different ways. One thing I really want to say is when you're reading for yourself, it's difficult, which is why I kind of like doing it with you guys, because actually when I'm channeling and I'm getting the messages out, it's like, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, now I get that. I get it. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so obviously, I think Spirit doesn't know time. Spirit's on Spirit's time, right? Because obviously time's a man-made construct, which was a good one, you know? We need that sort of, I guess, routine and inner knowing, yeah? It helps us sort of stabilise, doesn't it? Now, I got the Three of Wands and the Queen of Cups. And obviously we were talking about the Queen of Cups yesterday, weren't we? And I've just remembered I did say we'd have a look into beyond the day today. But obviously I've tried to squash this down into the weekend. But obviously this is something that could maybe start small this weekend and then unravel itself, yeah? Or you have a revelation about somebody. It can go in many different ways. Obviously, I know within myself, but with you guys, it could obviously be very different. But one thing I like about the Three of Wands is how it's looking beyond what we've done and what we've got. And actually with a brand new emotional space that, you know, and I say brand new because we are clearing out all the old stuff, yeah? All the old stuff is going. It's sort of dead, buried and done with, right? We don't forget, unfortunately, we don't forget, but we also don't need to torture ourselves, okay? But obviously in terms, like if we're talking about heart space and romance, then obviously I can see that we've all been doing a lot of work in terms of our emotional maturity as well. You know, understanding that not everything can go our way when we want it and everything else. Actually, that's a lack of emotional maturity, because we realise now that things happen when they're meant to happen and in the time that they're meant to happen, yeah? Because I know people hold on to a lot of this stuff, which is good, but at the same time, you do have to open your mind up to the possibility that it's not going to happen in the way that you think it will, right? Now, the next two is the Ace of Cups and the Nine of Cups. A lot of cups. So a lot of water, a lot of emotion. This is where it's pointing, right? I'll be able to come back and tell you guys what happened in my weekend. And you can tell me too, because I love hearing your stories and stuff. I love hearing how things relate and what bits I pick up that's part of your day and everything else, right? So a new emotional beginning, as this is something with the Nine of Cups. I look at the Nine of Cups as like but I deserve this excitement, right? And I always feel that when I see this, I think of 9 things that Spirit has done for me that make me happy. right? And even if you say you get to 6 or you get to 5 even, the rest of them always think of the things that you want next, because it's not it's not a, obviously you've got to have a moral code. This is quite difficult to explain, but you have to say it straight with spirit. You have to be as detailed as possible, and it's not like you demand, but you say, and that's what comes, and that's the God's honest truth. But in terms of connections, when there's somebody else involved, it's not just on your time, it's on their time too. And that's why I always say, have a bit of discernment and keep your mind open with stuff like this. But I don't know, this is what really made me smile. And I thought, okay, I can see where this is going. And then Strength, King of Wands, and the 8 of Wands. So you could be approached by a fire sign. You could meet a King of Wands. Doesn't necessarily have to be a fire sign, but it normally does sort of like follow suit, to be perfectly honest. And you do end up finding, and it's a bit like, whoa, okay. But the fact that with the Hierophant as well, I feel like this is going to be somebody that really understands us on a level, okay? And I feel like we bloody well deserve this as well, girls. So if there's anything going on or that goes on today or tomorrow and it makes you like, oh, okay, or you meet somebody and you really click with that person, expect that to evolve. And the fact that my ears ringing as well, it's like really ringing. The fact that the 8 of Wands is here, it means that it's fast moving energy. So don't be scared to put in any action. So say even if you do kind of like someone, you know, make it a little bit more known, like take a risk. And I don't think you're going to be disappointed, because the fact that Strength is here, one, I kind of looked at it as somebody strong, that, because obviously when we're asking for what we want, say in terms of being a heterosexual person and you're the female and it's the male that you are calling in, and, you know, again, be as specific as you want to be. I've always asked for somebody that's actually strong, and strong in senses of emotion and mentality, you know, someone who's got their shit together, basically, you know. And I thought that was really nice. And this has gone in a way that I did not expect at all. So feel good about it and actually accept it and think, well, do you know what? If the witchy lady on TikTok is telling me that something's going to happen, then the chances are this weekend something's going to happen. And because of the moon, the positive side of all of this Ariesness, yeah, and obviously Aries being fire as well, there is a positive side to it, and that is that it moves things along, gets rid of what isn't meant to be there, fills you with excitement. And obviously Aries is the number 1 in the zodiac, right? So it's really starting a whole new path again, but with somebody else. And not only with somebody else, but somebody that is going to help heal the parts of you that I guess other people have trashed. The last bit of tarot I wanted to do, the Star, the Queen of Wands. So it's the Queen and the King of Wands, and the Lovers. How amazing is that? I'll do some Oracle.